We are live, we are live, we are live, but we're not ready yet. Let's just go ahead and jump in because I'm bored anyway. I want to talk to you guys. I'm excited because today is Wednesday, the wonderful wealth of Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, or some people like to call it Hump Day. We call it Wealth Day. We call it Wonderful Day. We call it Wellness Day. We also call it Evaluation Day. On Wednesdays, we like to take a time to look back over the course of your week. How has it gone for you? How have you managed to navigate through what life has taken you on, the journey that you're going on? And how have you extracted wisdom out of every experience? Because life is going to send you some opportunities to gain wisdom. And a lot of times we misinterpret that wisdom as woe. It's not woe. It's not always what you think it is on the surface. A lot of times it's wealth that's being brought to you because you're navigating through these trials and tribulations and situations in life. And maybe, just maybe, you are creating a muscle that you need in order to succeed, but even more so, something that you need to help someone else to navigate through an experience that they may be going through. We're all better and stronger when we operate together in our own individual genius. And sometimes it takes someone standing up and standing out for what makes them different so that someone else can say, oh, that looks like me. Or, oh, that's exactly how I felt. Or, oh, I feel that way all the time. And then the world is just a little less lonely. And you know what else happens when the world is a little less lonely? You actually gain a little bit of confidence. And sometimes you get to take that permission to stand in your own amazing. I have a special guest today that I'm going to be bringing up right now. Her name is Amber Millar, and she is a life coach. You guys know that I love inviting coaches and consultants on because these are people that typically are heart-centered and have a desire to improve the world by sharing their special brand of excellence, genius, if you will, with the world. And Amber is exactly like that. Her heart and her spirit are so sweet. And I certainly can't wait to introduce her to you guys. I'm going to bring her up now instead of waiting, if that's all right. Amber, are you ready in the green room? Are you ready? Awesome. We're going to bring you up. Amber! Amber Millar. Woo-hoo. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me, Amber.
I'm so excited to be here, and like everything that you just said spoke right to my heart. Like we are connected. I mean, word for word. And you know, the things about the things that happen to us.
Yeah.
We can either let that dictate our whole life, or we can, you know, use that and develop superpowers from it. And so, yeah, everything that you said, like that just spoke to me. And it's like, I'm at the right place right now.
You're at the right place. Because I honestly believe that our superpowers are empowered, if you will. They're increased because of those experiences. It's almost like those experiences are the classes that we would never take. If we had to sign up for them, but they're exactly what you need to become the amazing and magnificent who you are.
Yeah. And that really, you know, that sums up my entire life so far. And I spent the last 10, 11 years wondering why I had to go through all of the crap that I did to get to this point in my life. And now it's like, my vision is clear. I know what my purpose is. I know what I was put on this earth to do.
Absolutely.
And it's still scary as hell. But
Absolutely.
I'm going to lean into this because this is what I was called to do.
Absolutely. Why don't you take us back a little bit? Take us back, because some of my audience is just meeting you, Amber. And I do want to make sure that they can see your name. I don't know if I took something off because it's covering our names. No, let's see. But what I want, if you would, take us back to where things began. Some of the places that maybe when you didn't understand what you were going through, what were some of the trials that you went through?
Yeah, so I grew up in a house that was kind of chaotic. There was lots of alcohol, lots of arguing. And when I was about 15 or 16 years old, I started drinking because that's what everybody in the Midwest does. And so my parents drank, my friends drank, and then I drank. And so what started off as innocent enough to have a good time and to let loose, like explore those boundaries, like it led into so much more. My mom's drinking really picked up when I was a teenager because, my brother and I were older and we didn't need her, we were more independent.
Right.
And she really went downhill. And when I was 22, I lost my biggest fan, and she passed away from basically alcohol and a host of other health issues when she was 44. And that was clearly a defining moment in my life.
Well, 44 is tremendously young to lose your mom. I mean, you were 22 at the time.
Yeah.
So
And I
that
didn't
meant
think about that. And it's like, okay, I'm 34 right now. Like, if I only have 10 years left, like, what am I going to do with this decade?
what are you going to do with it? Yes.
So that really hit me hard this year when I turned 34. But so my mom passed away when I'm 22, and I chose the same route that she took. I drowned my generational trauma like with more alcohol. And so that continued on even after I had my son when I was 27, and then I slowed down for a little bit, but I still wasn't as present as I could have been. And like I was hungover on the weekends with a small child. And then I had my daughter about 2 years ago, 2.5. And then things really started to slow down. Like I was like, I'm really sick of blacking out and being a train wreck. Like I was meant for more, because my entire life, my mom always told me that I was meant for big things. And, as a small child, I always rolled my eyes at her. And, like, what does mom know? Like, she's old, but she wasn't old. But so, I had my daughter, and it wasn't until I was faced with somebody else needing my help, like that they were at rock bottom with their alcohol, that my eyes were open. And, looking at her, I realized that she didn't wake up one day wanting to be in that place. And if I was to continue down the same road, then that's what was going to happen. And I didn't want it to get to the point where my family was forcing me, to get treatment. I didn't want to lose it all. And so, like, there were plenty of times throughout my life that I had already hit rock bottom, but that I continued to drink and feed the cycle and everything.
Yeah.
And
So we're going to give me just 1 second, Amber. We're going to talk about that rock bottom, because rock bottom experience is one that comes up a lot when you're dealing with situations that need a change. Give me just a moment.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm telling you, when we have stories of overcoming, these are real life, true stories. We don't have anybody producing these things. These are people, regular people like you and I, who have been through situations in their lives just like you and I, and they are willing to stand in the power of their truth. Today's guest, Amber Millar, is talking to us from the perspective of having gone through a life, having seen her mom, having seen the impact of what life did and those choices did to her mom, and having to come to her own conclusion as to what to do next. We're going to tune back into that conversation right now. Come on, Amber. Welcome back again.
Hey.
Absolutely. Now, you talked about rock bottom. rock bottom is different for a lot of people. And I would dare say some of those previous rock bottoms that you thought were rock bottom may not necessarily have been your rock bottom yet. So what made
they
things
weren't.
bad enough that you had to change?
It was seeing somebody else, like, and knowing that I needed to help her and that I didn't want to live my life like this anymore. That I needed to be the change. Because I remember asking my mom, begging and pleading with her, like, why couldn't she love herself enough to get help? And because she loved me and my brother more than anything in the world, but she wasn't able to get through that. And then here I was with two small children, now passing off those same excuses and putting it on them, like, do as I say, not as I do. And so I called myself out. I got honest with myself in that I didn't want to live this way anymore. And so from there, like, I helped that friend get sober. And then I thought, okay, like, if I can help one person get sober, like, I want to do that to as many people on the biggest platform possible, because there are so many people out there hurting and struggling. And I want to say to people, like, if a train wreck like me can get her crap together, like, there is hope for anybody.
Wow. A life not wasted. Has anybody on here, whether you're watching us live or if you're watching us on the replay or listening to the podcast, I want you to ask yourself, was there ever a point in your life that you just felt like a waste of space? And was there someone that came to you or something that came to you to encourage you into understanding that every one of us are here for a reason? Just consider that for a moment. That even when you're feeling your most trivial, if you can find that thing to grasp onto that will reinvigorate you, to remind you that you are worth it and that you should not waste your life. Now, how old are your children now? Your daughter is 2?
2.5, yeah, just about. And my son just turned 7.
Okay, so they're both still young enough to quite possibly have not borne the brunt of some of your choices.
Yeah.
How do you feel that's going to impact how you continue?
Oh, it's like, it's everything to me, because it's like my grandma struggled with alcoholism. My mom clearly did. I mean, it got the best of her, but I get to change where this story goes.
Yes.
And one example of this is my son was sitting on my lap, and we were around a bunch of family members that were drinking. And I think somebody had asked my son if he was going to drink beer when he was older. And he just said no, and he smiled a little bit shyly. And then he looks up at me and he whispers and he goes, "'Cause not everybody drinks, right, Mom?"
I know that was an amazing feeling.
My heart exploded. I was just, in that moment, I was so extremely proud of myself for giving my kids that example of somebody in their life that doesn't drink. And giving them that example of somebody that can do hard things, because that's the way life is. We are going to be faced with hard things our entire life. But how do you want to, go about it? Do you want to get consumed by that thing? Do you want it to dictate every little decision for the rest of your life? Or do you want to use that and turn it into that superpower? And so throughout this, like, I've realized by me becoming my best self, I'm able to pour into everybody else and empower them to become their best self.
Yeah, exactly. The word of God tells us to let your light shine, because you draw men. You draw others to you. People are connected to our light. They're connected to our success because it brings about hope. It brings about hope. It's so awesome. Now, you're also you are a life coach. Tell me, who is primarily the individual that needs some amber in their life?
I mean, really, I feel everybody could use a little bit of their life, but the people that come to me are generally the people that are in the same position that I was, like, because they're seeing me do the things that they want to. So they're people that are broken, that they're lost, that they know that they were meant for more. They just don't know how to get from where they are right now through their and walk through their fears and to get to that other place that they know is over there. It's just so scary, to make those changes, because for the longest time I was afraid to quit drinking, because who would I be without alcohol? And like, what would I do for fun? Will I lose all of my friends? Fear is what kept me small. It kept me doing those same exact things. And it wasn't until I changed that fear into curiosity of what could life be like on the other side? Like, is sobriety, is that as good as what these before and after pictures on Pinterest and, the internet look like? Like, could I be as happy as those people? And I can be, and I am. And this is what I have to share with people. And I want to breathe that into people, that it doesn't matter who you've been your entire life up until this very moment. Who do you want to be going forward?
Mm-hmm. So how do they connect with you to be able to use your services?
Absolutely. You can either email me at amber@alifenotwasted.com. Otherwise, you can find me on Facebook, A Life Not Wasted.
I'm going to put that on the screen so that they can connect with you. alifenotwasted.com. And the Facebook group also, you mentioned, what kind of things do you do in your group?
So I run a program, it's called Fearless Change. And basically it takes people from where they are right now to the place that they dream about. And, and I bring that into reality. So if there's something that people always want to do, like, and generally a lot of the people that come to me, they just want to be happy. Like, they haven't been happy since they were kids. I had a client tell me that she's never liked herself a day in her life, and that broke my heart, that people are walking around, with this kind of hurt. And I want to heal that, and I want to grow together, because if I can do that for somebody else, and they become the best version of themselves, then they're going to be able to do that for somebody else. And
Absolutely.
then it's just this ripple effect. And that's literally how we make the world a better place. It's how we raise the vibration of the earth.
Absolutely. As the coach's coach, that is exactly why I transitioned from coaching clients one-on-one to coaching coaches, because as I gained the success that I was looking for and being able to help so many people to tap into their power and help them to really break those generational curses, to see themselves as superheroes, what happened was I became very successful, but very too much there was still so many people that I couldn't touch.
Yeah.
And so it was a blessing to be able to now have those people that I was able to help heal and become whole, to then become successful coaches themselves, because that ripple effect now gets to go out far and wide, everybody with their own discipline. Everyone is not the same type of life coach or the same type of empowerment coach. Everyone has their own secret sauce, if you will. But to give them the systems that would allow them to be successful and not have to stop coaching because they couldn't get clients or they couldn't, get paid or whatever those things, that is really where my superpower lie. And then knowing that it was facilitating the help and healing for those that I still wanted to see whole, it's a win-win. It's like that butterfly effect.
So good. It's so good. And
yeah, we're creating tsunamis all over the world.
Oh, like take my love, my energy, all of the things that like I want to pour that into people. And it's so amazing that now, that I've been putting myself in the universe. It aligns me with people like you, like we're on the same frequency. And it's like, how do we bring more people into this? Because it's like, if I could give people the opportunity to like experience what I feel like on the inside for just 1 hour, like everybody would walk away like from all of the crap that they're doing. They would quit talking negatively to themselves, like they would start loving themselves. They would start making those changes
Absolutely.
to live that most fulfilling life that they can be proud of. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, like we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I think that's the critical question is how long will you continue doing what you do? And for me, it is what I am called to do. So if I stop, then I cease to exist.
Yeah, and that's just basically it. For the first 3 or 4 months after I quit drinking, I didn't tell anybody that I had quit because one, I wasn't sure if I was done because I had said this 8 million times before.
Oh
And
wow.
two, like I knew what everybody, I knew people were going to doubt me as well. So it wasn't until 3 or 4 months later that I was like, okay, this is the real deal. And then it was like, okay, what is this? What did all of that crap teach me? Like, what can I do with this life experience that I've had so far? And so that's when I started leaning into it. And it's been super scary to put myself out there and to share my story with the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, my favorite coach, de facto coach, her name is Susan Jeffers. She's the author of Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Mhm.
That's her quote. That's the quote. The quote is the title. Feel the fear and do it anyway, because
Yeah.
everything amazing is happening right outside of your comfort zone, right out of that safety, right outside of what you've always done. And if you
Yeah.
can just get to the place where you're not looking not to be afraid anymore. You're looking to tackle that fear and to overcome it versus succumbing to it.
Fear is a liar.
It is.
And fear kept me it kept me broke. It kept me drunk. It kept me from everything good in my life. And for a little while it was keeping me from sharing this story. But then once I started sharing my story, then the private messages started coming in and people, a light bulb went off in my head. Okay, like this is needed. And then from there, now I look at fear as a positive thing. Like
Absolutely.
that's the exact thing that I need to do, which is why I call my program Fearless Change, because like I want people, like I will hold their hand throughout that process, and we're going to break it down, like because fear is a liar.
It is. It is. And it's deceptive. It's intended to keep you from oftentimes doing what you absolutely know within your gut you should be doing.
Mhm.
It's just like that. It's like the tether. If you've ever studied how they train elephants, elephants are trained from very, very young. They grow into 200-ton animals, right? They're big, giant. They can move anything. They can knock down
Mhm.
trees, and right. But at very, very young age, they are tethered to a tree by their ankle with a rope. And as they grow, they change the rope and continue to tether it to the tree until it gets to a point where they put the rope on the elephant, but they don't tether it to anything
Mhm.
because they brainwash the elephant to believe that this tether exists just because it's around its ankle. How many of us are failing to operate in our greatness because we have been convinced by some brainwashing that is not even true that you can't do it when actually you are designed for it? You are designed for it.
And that's just it. I was somebody that told myself I drank because it runs in my family. That
Yeah.
was something that was conditioned in me. And And that's crap. Like, that doesn't have to be my life story. And now my children don't have to live with that life story. That
That's the legacy you
yeah,
don't have to give.
yeah, we get to write a new one. And
Yeah.
now that I know that I have control over that, okay, like, who do I want to be in the next 5 years? Like, and now it's like, okay, I've already done the hardest thing in my life, which was quit drinking and lose my mom. Like, I'm unstoppable now. Like, there's literally nothing that I can't do. And that's what I want to give to people too.
Absolutely. If we can get to that place, I think we can really become the change that this world needs, that we all need together. Amber, we've only got a few minutes left. Do you want to talk a little bit about your program and share with the audience what it is, what it does, and how they can become a part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So come and join me in my community, A Life Not Wasted, on Facebook. And in there, I give lots of motivation and inspiration about how you can change your life. I'm doing a free training on setting boundaries today. And then if you're interested in, if you're feeling lost or broken and just want to connect with me on a one-on-one basis, like, I offer a gift of my time, an hour, to have a clarity call with everybody and find out, like, what are the things that you're struggling with right now, which is generally all in your head. How do we get over those things? And, like, how are they affecting your life? And then what do you want things to look like in 12 weeks? Because my program, it runs for 12 weeks, and we break down all of the stories that you've been telling yourself your entire life. And then we start rewriting that to the person that you are on the inside. And we align your life with your values, what's in your heart and in your soul. Because when you're acting in a way that doesn't align with that, that's when you're unhappy and things aren't going good. But when you take ownership of that and you start making changes in your life to align with that, then that's when we're living our most fulfilling life. So my favorite thing is to get on calls with people and just, see where they are right now, see where I can empower them to start making changes in their life.
Wow, thank you so much. You can connect with Amber once again at A Life Not Wasted on Facebook. That's our Facebook group. Whoops, wrong one. If you want to reach out to her directly, you can email her at amber@alifenotwasted.com. And you can follow her as well on Facebook. Amber, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story of overcoming with us. I look forward to seeing even more greatness from you. Do you mind hanging out with me in the green room for just a moment?
I'd love to.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm telling you, we get the opportunity to really connect with some phenomenal people. And one of the things that I want to make sure that you hear is that everyone came from somewhere. We didn't arrive holding the keys, the gifts, and the talents that we currently have. We had to hone them. We had to overcome some things. And likely you are in the midst of your overcoming right now. If there is something that you believe is keeping you from your greatness, it may be time to tell your story. Learning how to tell your story in such a way that it doesn't just get out of you, but it shapes you to become who it is that you need to become so that you can fulfill your destiny is my specialty. Stories of overcoming are utilized not only to publish your book, but also to create your next chapter of your life, to get you ready to be who you were intended to be, who you've been studying to be all along. If I can be of support to you, feel free to reach out, schedule a complimentary consultation with me. I am lisasantiago.com/calendar. We'll take a few minutes and just evaluate where you've been, what you've learned, and how you can help heal the world. And we can do it together. In the meanwhile, keep walking on water. We'll see you next week.